that there's a new evolving administration strategy, not just to try to degrade and ultimately destroy ISIS, but at the same time go after Bashar al-Assad's regime in Damascus. What do you make of this?
Well, I think that this is one of the requests that the other regional actors have all asked for. Turkey has said, well, we might provide brigades, but first, let's see a plan. Because from the Turkish standpoint, they've watched the middle class in Aleppo be hit day after day, 40 airstrikes a day on some days from Assad, just attacks on civilian targets. They're saying, look, if you can marginalize or remove this Assad, we could put Syria back together. That'll make it easier to take on ISIS, and at that point, perhaps we bring troops into the field. You have the same analysis out of the Gulf states. So I think...
Let me interrupt for a second. What does that mean? The U.S., we bring troops back into the field.
Well,
what does that mean?
Well, this would mean that Turkey would actually commit brigades. You know, their armor is up on the border. You watched that battle. You reported on that battle over Kobani, where you saw the armored divisions of Turkey not engaged in the fight, but simply sitting there watching on the Turkish border, you know, a few football fields away. They could move into these areas and really push back ISIS. But they've asked for a plan, and a plan that deals with the removal of Assad.
So, in other words, what the U.S. would like to see is combat boots on the ground, as they say, but Turkish combat troops going in. The Turks say, why should Turkish ground forces go in when the U.S. refuses to send U.S. ground troops on the ground?
Well, what they're now saying is, show us a plan. Show us something that gets to a situation that will resolve the problem in Syria, such as the removal of Assad. And at that point, we will consider sending those Turkish boots on the ground. So I think that's part of the dialogue here.
But that would be a huge development if Turkish combat troops, artillery, tanks, armored personnel carriers, warplanes, if they were to move in, they not just go against ISIS, but move in against the Bashar al-Assad regime. You're talking about a huge escalation of this war.
Or a solution to the problem of getting a resolution. Because at this point, you've got several million refugees from Syria, most of them up, you know, in either right on the border or inside Turkey. You have massive losses of life. And so Turkey could, you know, being the largest army in this theater, could put an enormous amount of pressure. And I think this might be an attempt to get more engagement from Turkey on this resolution of the problem with ISIS.
And could you see the day when the U.S. would start using combat ground forces inside either Syria or Iraq, for that matter?
I don't see that happening. What I see is the U.S. potentially training Kurdish forces, U.S. training Sunni anti-ISIL forces, whether they be Iraqi or whether they be, you know, the Free Syrian Army. That I could see, but not the introduction of U.S. combat troops in this theater.
So you don't see that at all. This training program, though, that could take years and years and years to get anywhere, right? In Syria or Iraq, for that matter. The Iraqi military has proven to be basically MIA.
But think about this: you have a different situation in Baghdad today. When General Allen was there last, training for the awakening in Anbar province. At that point, you had a functioning relationship. Then you ended up with Maliki, and now Maliki's gone. So I think for that reason, they've asked General Allen to return to start the training again with the presumption that the situation has changed now and we can get some support to those anti-ISIL forces. We want them to do the fighting.